On Thursday, December 5th, 2013, 14-year-old Claudia Ann Lucero was getting ready for school around 6:30 a.m. when her mom left for work. When her mom returned home after work, Claudia was not there. She found no sign of forced entry, but Claudia had apparently left behind some items that she normally would have taken to school with her. Joann Lucero filed a missing person report on her daughter shortly before 8 p.m. that evening, after none of Claudia's friends reported seeing her at school or otherwise that day. Welcome to another episode of Mountain Standard True Crime. I'm Michelle Carlson. This episode is the tragic true story of the murder of 14-year-old Claudia Lucero in Mesa, Arizona, back in 2013. Her killer was just sentenced in January 2025. Content in this episode may be disturbing to some and is not appropriate for children. Here we go. Claudia Lucero's mother filed a missing person report on her daughter shortly before 8 p.m. on Thursday, December 5th, 2013, after none of Claudia's friends reported having seen her at school or elsewhere that day. Early the next morning, two women were looking for cans in a garbage dumpster at the Sun Garden Apartments between Horn and Brown Road in Mesa, Arizona, when they discovered a body. This was about 2 miles away from the apartment where Claudia lived.
911 emergency.
Hi, we have an emergency. I think we found a dead body in the dumpster.
Okay, what's the address? Stay on the line with me, ma'am. So he's not breathing?
I guess they said the body's in the trash, in the dumpster.
Okay, where's the dumpster at?
It's in the corner, against the wall.
Okay, which corner? East or west?
Okay, it's going to be on the west.
Northwest corner?
Yes.
Okay, did you see the body? Give me a description, male, female, clothing?
Was it a female? It's a female.
Okay.
You saw the leg.
Is it your child?
No, this our neighbor, she just, I guess they were throwing the trash out or something.
Okay.
She was looking for aluminum cans in the trash can, and she found a body in there.
Okay. What's your name?
What's your name? Veronica's her name.
No, what's your name, ma'am?
Oh, my name is Patty.
Patty, and your last name?
Braxton.
Braxton?
Yes.
Your phone number?
Yes.
Okay, where are you guys for contact?
Here at my...
Okay.
Because the dumpster's just right by my apartment, real close by.
I'm sorry, what's your unit again?
The corner, yeah.
Okay, and can the neighbor stay there with you, the one that found the body?
Yes.
Okay, well, I have units on the way. I have police, paramedics, and ambulance on the way, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Patty.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
On Monday, December 9th, the public was informed that the body discovered in the apartment complex dumpster had been positively identified as 14-year-old Claudia Ann Lucero. Counselors were on hand for students at Westwood High School, where Claudia was a 9th grade student, to comfort classmates distraught by her death. "We want answers," her older brother, Ricky Lucero, told the media. "That's my sister. For them to throw her in the trash like that just tells me my sister was trash, and she wasn't trash. She wasn't trash at all." Claudia's purse, identification, some of her books, and clothing typically worn by a teenager also were found inside the dumpster. Mesa Police Chief Frank Milstead said detectives believed 31-year-old Alex Anthony Madrid sexually assaulted Claudia and strangled her to death before leaving her in the dumpster. Madrid had been released from prison in March 2013 after serving time for aggravated assault, resisting arrest, and aggravated harassment. His rap sheet goes all the way back to 2001, and he had been incarcerated 5 times prior to Claudia's murder. Police started watching Madrid early on as their person of interest, Milstead said. According to court documents, an undercover officer who was following Madrid and knew he had a warrant for his arrest on a probation violation stemming from a marijuana possession case. You know, it's really too bad he wasn't already locked up. Again, for violating his probation. Perhaps that could have saved Claudia's precious life. It always makes me so sad when there are potentially missed opportunities to save somebody. Police tried to pull him over for a traffic violation on Friday night, but he sped away. Officers eventually hit Madrid's car to make him spin out and arrested him after a foot chase. He was arrested on charges of running from police plus the warrant, and a judge ordered him to be held without bond due to his aforementioned actions being a violation of his probation. Court video shows Madrid unsuccessfully trying to convince a judge to release him on a low bond for the police chase, saying he had a job and, quote, children to take care of. Really, dude? You're a repeat violent offender and nobody wants you in society. And perhaps you should have thought about that before you went on committing additional crime. Meanwhile, detectives learned that the medical examiner's report stated Claudia died of strangulation and her body showed signs of sexual assault, and that DNA matched Alex Anthony Madrid, who then faced additional charges of first-degree murder, kidnapping, sex conduct with a minor, molestation of a child abuse, sexual abuse, abandonment or concealment of a body, and tampering with physical evidence. Mesa Police Chief Frank Milstead said that their investigation into the tragic death of Claudia Lucero uncovered that she was afraid of Madrid, and said that Madrid had inappropriately touched her before, although it wasn't reported to police. Again, this is very unfortunate. Perhaps if it had been reported, especially given Madrid's lengthy rap sheet, maybe he would have been locked up as a result of that report and would not have been able to violate her again and then take her life. So sad. Madrid did not cooperate with police when they tried to question him about the murder, according to Milstead. The victim's mother, Joann Lucero, had broken up with Madrid and booted him out of their apartment a few weeks earlier, after Claudia had reported to friends that she feared him, according to court documents. Claudia had accused Madrid of touching her inappropriately, and he, quote, had forcibly made her touch his genitals, according to the court documents. Again, so sad that that wasn't reported to police. If her mom knew about it, which apparently she did because that's why she kicked Madrid out, it absolutely should have been reported to the police. I see this a lot in cases, especially where there's domestic violence involved, and I'm not saying there was domestic violence involved in this case, but so many times these women do not want to be responsible for sending their boyfriends or their husbands back to jail or back to prison when that's absolutely where they belong. Anyway, very unfortunately, it took 11 long years for this case to go to trial. It's normal for murder cases to take a couple of years, but this delay was unusual. Madrid went through multiple sets of defense attorneys after at least 2 attorneys were dismissed after citing conflicts with the defendant. The appointment of new attorneys can result in delays that are months long because the attorneys need time to become familiar enough with the case to be able to take it to trial. Also, there were delays in 30 boxes of case documents making it from attorneys to attorneys on at least one of the times that attorneys were turned over. Apparently, delays are commonplace in capital cases where there is a limited pool of defense attorneys qualified to handle them, and court rules require 2 prosecutors and 2 defense attorneys on these cases. So it would have already been long enough, and then they had those 2 sets of attorneys that they had to replace. So took forever, like an exceptionally unreasonable long time, in my opinion. According to court documents, Madrid attempted to end the case himself by giving the prosecution a 26-page letter in which he sought a life sentence in exchange for a guilty plea. The state of Arizona did not accept the offer. If a defendant is convicted of first-degree murder in a capital case, a jury must then weigh aggravating and mitigating factors that could determine a sentence of life or death. During his trial, Madrid's attorney, Marcy Crater, claimed that the history of abuse he endured as a child shaped his life and impacted his mental state during the crime. Doubt it. I don't doubt that it could have impacted his mental state during his life, but during the crime, no, he just sneaked his way into that apartment and did what he wanted to do. Cratter presented several factors in favor of life in prison versus the death sentence, including systemic failures, a dysfunctional family, brain damage, emotional abuse, trauma, neglect, and inappropriate sexualization as a minor. She told the court that Madrid was beaten by his mother, witnessed the murder of his uncle, and received no intervention from Child Protective Services. Many children endure childhood trauma like this, and child abuse and sexual abuse, and do not go on to be abusers themselves and murderers. That's just an excuse. Additionally, medical experts testified that Madrid had suffered brain damage. The jury was shown a photograph of Madrid as an 8-year-old boy, juxtaposed with an image of him as an adult, his face marked with bruises. The horrific things that happened to him turned him into that man, Cratter said. She said Madrid was impulsive, which was apparent in his crimes. If he does have brain damage, I don't doubt that he was impulsive. That's a classic sign and symptom of brain damage. But that doesn't lead everybody that has a brain injury to go on and commit violent crimes. Cratter argued to the jury that if the attack had been planned, steps to avoid leaving DNA evidence, such as using a condom, would likely have been taken. What happened in that apartment was a consequence of impulse and reactive behavior, Cratter said. In October 2024, after a 27-day trial, a jury found Madrid guilty of multiple felonies, including first-degree murder, kidnapping, sexual conduct with a minor, burglary, abandonment or concealment of a dead body, and unlawful flight from law enforcement. The prosecution presented DNA evidence of Madrid's semen found on Lucero, along with GPS records placing him near the location of her body at the time of her death. The defense argued Madrid had an alibi for the time frame during which the prosecution said Claudia was killed. The jury deliberated for less than an hour before returning with their guilty verdict. On Thursday, January 16, 2025, a jury sentenced 42-year-old Alex Anthony Madrid to death. The death sentence is in addition to the 91 years he was already sentenced to for kidnapping and other charges related to Lucero's death. His sentencing hearings were held over months before the defense and prosecution closed their arguments on Monday, January 13th. Madrid addressed the jurors after they rendered their sentence. "I want to thank you guys," he said. "I thought you were going to go back there, take 10 minutes, and come to your decision. At least you guys thought about what this was. I know it probably wasn't easy on you guys." Well, it took an hour, not 10 minutes, but it still was a super short decision, especially for a death penalty case. Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell said in a statement after the sentencing was announced, "After waiting 11 painful years to see Claudia's murderer be held accountable, the day has finally arrived for Claudia's mother and the Lucero family. I have had the privilege of being with them and saw firsthand the pain they've been through." Claudia's cousin, Lupe Lucero, said that she was a cheerful girl who loved fashion and makeup. "I just miss all her smiling," he told the media. Friends and family of Claudia hold a yearly donation drive for Mesa advocacy through Claudia's Corner charity event in her honor. Claudia was laid to rest in a local cemetery. She was born on May 27, 1999, a fellow Taurus, and was violently taken from this earth on December 5, 2013. Her headstone bears the quote, "Maybe it's not about the happy ending, maybe it's about the story." Claudia's mother maintains a Facebook page in her honor on which there are photos of her headstone decorated for various holidays. From all accounts, this beautiful girl was a ray of sunshine during her short time here on Earth. I know her family, or I hope her family, has found some comfort in knowing that the monster responsible for her death will eventually be handed his fate. Thank you for watching and or listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button. It's free and it really helps us out a lot. You can also find and follow us on Spotify. We would love it if you would share our channels. Share. There are true crime friends everywhere. Until next time, please be aware of your surroundings. Please stay safe and take care of yourselves.